up to episode 3. So can't wait to continue topping on these topics and kind of rewind this and turn some of these things down. Christine, how are you doing? How was your last week that you had?
I'm great and hope that your spring vacation that you took last week was amazing.
It was. It was. Spent a little time outside. I don't know that I have a tan or even a sunburn or anything like that, but spent some time outside. Left the state, so got away from, it kind of changed my allergies a little bit. So trying to kind of figure all that out. But besides that, it all worked out pretty well. So excited to be back here. There's a lot that's happened in the crypto world since then, and just in the financial world. Did you know you can finally afford eggs again? It went from like $9 a carton to like 350, something like. I don't know what it is in California. How's those eggs in California?
Yeah, so I think what they were saying was it dropped about an average of $3 from one week to the next. And then I went to go check and that was true.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I can see that you have fixed your lighting. Your camera looks good. Your microphone looks good. You've got all the technical stuff figured out. So glad that is the case. By the way, this is By the Rumor episode 3. We've done 2 other episodes of
Three.
these. We get better every time. I honestly believe that we get better every time and get our technical issues worked through every time. So you're growing with us. Remember, everybody, this is just 2 people talking about the markets. I'm not suggesting to buy anything or sell anything or do anything like that. Don't listen to me. I am an absolute idiot. You don't follow any trades that I am doing or anything like that. So with that, let's start with these. You can see these topics on the right side of your screen. We'll talk to each of these topics for about 3 minutes, and then we'll move on to some other things. Later in the show, Christine's going to talk about Ozempic. That should be fun. Some controversial. Anybody that has an opinion on Ozempic, it's controversial at times. And then later, I'm going to talk about vibe coding and what vibe coding is and the journey that I've went on learning how to code through AI. So excited to talk about that. So with that, let's start here with anti-woke backlash. Christine, were you able to check out that Solana commercial that was so hot yesterday?
No, I was not. I was trying to see it but by the time I looked, it was gone. It was pulled off.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you could still find it out there, but it goes like this. There's this guy that's in a therapist's office, right? And he's talking to his therapist, and he's like, I really need some, action verbs, those sort of things. And she's like, let's not talk about verbs, let's talk about pronouns. And he kind of cringes a little bit. And that's kind of the red flag number 1 that the crypto community didn't like. Brings up pronouns and brings up kind of these gender type of politics into the segment. Then he says, "Well, I don't have a distrust of the media," and actually thought this was funny. She brings out a piece of a newspaper, puts it out on the desk, and it says, "It's okay, you can trust us," and it's from the New York Times. And he says, "I don't know. That seems like it could be biased." And she goes, "Oh, no, actually, check this out." And she brings out another New York Times paper, and the headline says, "We're not biased." And so, yeah, a lot of, I chuckled at that. But then it goes on and gets into gender, and there's only 2 genders, and it kind of gets into, America is back, that sort of thing. Here's the issue is they're not really talking about Solana, or I believe in this case it was talking about maybe a event that they were going to be having. They don't talk about Solana, the event, or Solana, the blockchain very much. They talk about these politics. And it ended up, the crypto community just came out and just, they didn't like it, okay? So, Christine, my question to you is, why do these companies continue to alienate half of their audience without talking about their actual product?
I don't know. I think that's a misstep on brands like identifying as far as like politics goes and trying to push their views or even say it like you're selling something. You're a brand, and I think it's best. It's not rocket scientist. I think it's best to just leave that out. And especially like from the Solana commercial that you were saying didn't even push any Solana anything. It was just whoever came up with that direction used that platform to just push out their politics. Everyone has their opinion, but as far as brands go, I think that it's best to just stay out of it because you're right. They alienate the consumer, and you don't want to do that. You want to feel like everyone's welcome to use your brand.
Well, I mean, whenever you create anything, why would you try to alienate half of your audience, or even if it was a small portion of your audience? Why do that? And this goes the same with the other side of the aisle, too. The Bud Light thing, that was probably pretty stupid to do last year because anybody that's got their finger on the pulse of things knows they were going to alienate half, probably more than half, of their actual audience on there. By the way, you ever notice on the upper right-hand corner, we've got little pictures that go with everything that we talk about? Anyway, these are Trump tariffs that we're going to talk about now. Yeah, just check that. It's got, you can see Trump right there, and I don't know, he's got like some chess pieces that he's playing as he's doing these tariffs. Okay, so
Yeah.
all right, experts are investigating whether the rising import prices are a direct effect of President Trump's tariffs. And this whole trend is raising questions about the long-term impact on the economy and consumer prices. Christine, out there in California, I feel like you're in a completely different world sometimes than me. Are you feeling the impact of tariffs over there like you might elsewhere? I don't know if the tattoo industry, if you're feeling import prices from that. You may not feel it at all there.
I feel like it's nothing. I don't feel, my personal opinion is, I don't feel that it's different from the prices rising the past few years. Like we've been seeing prices rise aggressively without the tariffs. So it doesn't feel much different. I do see prices going up. Um, Granted, he's only been in, this administration has only been in for what, like not too long. Um, I know they went into place, but I don't feel like it's aggressively gone up. It just seems like it's the same here in California. Like they've been going up, they've been on the rise. Um, Nothing too aggressive.
Y'all
I
are
do
just so
think,
accustomed. Y'all are
yeah,
accustomed to high prices.
yeah,
So
like it's unlivable wages here. So.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Well, definitely the tariffs are affecting things. You'll see, especially cars, things like that. Anything that's been shipped, and made out of the country, you're now seeing that, those prices will go up. However, I saw a really interesting thing. We only got a minute left on this topic, but I want to hurry and say it. It said in the 70s, some economists say that it was the best for the middle class here in the United States. And that's because a lot of people were building things. We had a lot of kind of a revolution of people building things here on our own soil, and that actually was good for the middle class. The money flowed to the middle class because they were getting jobs where we were making things here in this country. But now everything's exported out. Nothing is really made here anymore. And some people say, yeah, but we're able to do it so much cheaper than ever before. And the tariffs do kind of level that playing field to where it's not economically beneficial to export some of your labor outside of the country. But certainly, before we bring labor back into the country, which remember, we have to pay people high. Costco's paying people $32 an hour now. That makes inflation go up and what we buy go up. So do we want more jobs or do we want cheap things to buy?
I'm going to work at Costco.
You get those $32 an hour, man. That's pretty good that they pulled that
Yeah.
off. How are they
God.
gonna?
A lot
How are
of
they gonna?
people, I know we have to stop talking, but I mean, a lot of people are like, it's so crazy, $32 an hour, and then you get these kids coming out with their bachelor degrees and they don't even make that. So strange.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. And by the way, you can go over that bell is it's a suggestion. It's not a hard and fast rule. But we will move on to the next one. I always like this, that it kind of keeps us moving in topics. But let's talk about XRP, okay? A little bit of Ripple. So during this whole last few months, even year in crypto, we've seen more institutional money coming into the ecosystem, right? We've heard, oh, BlackRock's doing this, or Strategy is buying even more Bitcoin. All of that. Well, whenever this is happening and you actually have other governments buying into crypto, people start looking to XRP, right? And they're saying, oh, Ripple's so good. It's going to be almost what the banking system is, but in crypto. So I can see why people get excited about Ripple. The issue is they had a whole bunch of transactions happen over the course of the last week or so, or the month or so. And whenever that happened, it makes everybody say, wow, they're moving so many transactions I believe that's wrong. I believe it's XRP skyrockets. I believe it's 11.7 million in their transactions that they've done. And a lot of times people think that more transactions equal a bullish price outlook on there. So, Christine, I guess my question is, with Ripple or any crypto, are they benefited by this high utilization by world governments and world leaders, and where banks are starting to actually look into crypto? Is that a benefit for a coin like Ripple?
Absolutely. And I think that's what we, especially Ripple community and just what we knew about Ripple, they wanted to kind of come in and then be able to be trusted by banks and kind of take over like the whole banking system with Ripple. And they've been going through it for years, with courts and just trying to find some like legal um floor with themselves. And I think Ripple is absolutely, it's good for crypto in general. And then Ripple, it's a huge win for them to see the surge. And then, the crypto reserve that the US just created, I think a lot of countries will follow that. If we're going to go by the pattern of what happens, I think everyone's going to just come in, and banks are coming in. We're seeing the institutions come in, and now more than ever, just reoccurring buys, guys, reoccurring buys.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what some people are doing. And man, Ripple has their fans for sure. They get really excited whenever it goes up like that. And hey, good for them. I've never been a big person into Ripple, but I know some people, and they're the ones that really like the banking system. They really get into that. All right, stablecoin legislation. Stablecoins. You mentioned Costco. I always say that the Costco hot dog was the original, the OG stablecoin at $1.50 for like, how many years has it been? $1.50? It's a long time. Anyway, we should start trading. We should make a swap for crypto to Bitcoin somewhere. Anyway, the Senate Banking Committee, they voted to advance a bill aimed at creating a regulatory framework for stablecoins. It marks a pivotal moment towards establishing clear guidelines in the cryptocurrency market. I personally, I'm not looking for regulation to happen in these stable coins. It probably needs to happen. I do understand that, but I'm worried it will be a foothold into getting a digital dollar here in the United States. And I get worried about privacy concerns with that. So I guess that's my question to you, Christine. Are you glad that they're doing regulation in stablecoin? But secondly, are you concerned that this could lead to maybe some overstepping of regulatory abilities?
Yeah, that's always the concern, right? Because we've been waiting for them to like give us legislation on the stable coin and people to finally stop saying, oh, it's a scam, because there's no legislation behind it. But with that comes the overstep of government, and they've never not overstepped. So I feel like that's coming, and we're just going to have to, fight that and fight back with that, because we don't want that. And the whole point of this whole thing is, let us kind of do what we will with our money. With the privacy thing, I wanted to bring up Monero too, like that coin, the privacy coin that you had told me about years ago. I feel like that's when that starts coming in and people start looking into privacy tokens like Monero, and also be looking into that if you haven't yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Monero's great because you can do transactions and nobody can know about it. Bitcoin used to be that. Not that anything changed with Bitcoin, but nobody knew anything about Bitcoin. Nobody knew how to do like blockchain sleuthing, right? But Monero can always give that privacy. But what I'm always worried about with a digital dollar, and this is what I worry the stablecoin legislation could turn into, is I would be concerned about where they said, Christine, you have used too much gas this month, right? You've used too much gas in your car. And because of that, we're going to have to change your taxable rate. And we're going to take some out of your digital dollar that you own. We're gonna get that money back one way or another. To me, that is a complete overstepping. And if you don't think it could happen, I think you might be misguided. I do not want to see a digital dollar. However, I think it might be inevitable that it's coming. If it's not this administration, it'll be another one.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's not this administration, it'll be another one. And here in California, they actually implemented now that they watch your mileage for the year. And if you go over a certain mileage, they're going to tax you or something. And everyone was like, what? So that's like a new thing.
Wait, that's already happening?
Yeah.
Sheesh. Okay. Okay. So I came up with that scenario, by the way, almost as like a doomsday scenario, and you're telling me that on some level it's kind of already happening.
If you
So,
want to know what happens doomsday wise, look at California first.
and we see, yeah, don't worry, all us other 49 states look there and think like, oh man, we need to we need to
Uh,
change our ways. We need to change our ways, or it's gonna happen over there. All right, AI in medicine. Okay, researchers at the University of Virginia have developed an innovative AI tool called LogiRx, or yeah, LOGIRX, and it's aimed at revolutionizing drug discovery, especially in treating heart disease, and it marks a significant leap in medical technology. Christine, everybody kind of was scared of the vaccine, right? Whenever that came out, it was mRNA. It's too new for things. Are you willing to put in your body something that wasn't created by a human and researcher, but instead it was created by robots and figured out whether it was good medicine or not? You willing to do that? And we'll get into Ozempic here in a little bit. But are you willing to take some kind of medicine that was created by AI?
I feel like it's controversial because AI is seemingly a lot smarter than humans, right? And we're starting to heavily rely on AI, and it's a lot more efficient, probably a lot less mistakes than a human would make. I don't know if I don't think I'd put any AI machine in me, like you know how people started talking about like little, I think Elon was talking about like something with, I don't know, some little
Like
tiny chip.
nanobots?
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I don't think I'm there. But as far as medicine, I think I would. Like, I mean, we're trusting all these humans to have done it, and it was years of research, but in an AI, it could be like a day's worth of like computer think tank, and they're like, here it is.
Yeah. I saw something the other day. They said if you are under 40, they said prepare to live to 120. Okay. Because,
Whoa.
yeah, yeah, right. Because all the advancements that are going to happen because of AI. So, huge advancements are about to be made in medicine. And whether you trust them or not, that's up to you. But I'm telling you, as we get into like the investment side of this, AI is going to develop some big money makers soon. And it'll be up to you as an investor to be able to find those companies that have those, that are using AI to be able to build those. So yeah, check out that. Oh, what's up? Go ahead.
Before we go into the next, as far as like this topic too, because you're like pretty seasoned in medicine because you know what you went to school for. But do you feel like, are you open arms to AI in medicine, and does that take a lot of these jobs from doctors or pharmacists and researchers in that
Yeah.
area?
Okay, you kept on. At first, I was like, no, no, no. Researchers, yes. So, does it take away a job from a doctor? No, not really. I mean, can AI take the way of a job of a doctor? Yes, but can drug discovery from AI take the job of a doctor? No, I don't think so. I think it probably gives them another tool to use. It'd be just like anything that's human discovered, where they could then prescribe it. Same with a pharmacist; they could then dispense it, just like the regular, just like we do right now. But researchers, they will use that tool. It's just like any other industry that's disrupted by AI, right? There will be human researchers that utilize AI to go through the data to make sure they are making smart decisions in what ultimately gets to market. Researchers will use that tool. It might mean fewer researchers are paid, because they may not need as many researchers whenever you have a tool as strong as AI. So very interesting there. Hey, do you see that little red dot next to the timer? Do you see how I was able to pause the timer so that we could keep on talking about?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to talk about how I did that in my segment later. And now I can start even again. Now it's going. All right, unpatriotic trading. First of all, before I look into this, I want you to define what you think unpatriotic trading is.
Is it like going against, you're trading tickers or companies that go against this administration at the current
Uh,
time?
No,
What is it?
although you're leaning into it a little bit. So
Okay.
there's an investment strategy that some people have deemed unpatriotic, and this is from Forbes, by the way, um, and it yields a 9.1% dividend. It's prompting discussion on the balance between international investments and American pride. What if you were able to actually invest in companies that were overseas, okay, that maybe were in direct competition with American companies? Is this unpatriotic to do, to basically bet on other countries' companies? And if they do good, America does bad, but you still profited on it because you were able to invest in these companies that were actively trading against an American company. Is that unpatriotic? Is that bad?
I personally don't feel like it's unpatriotic. It's just you have, as the trader, you don't have control of what happens. You're just trying to take an educated guess on your and put your money there. Doesn't mean you want it to happen. Like you probably want, American companies to win, but you're like, not on this one. I think they're gonna take this. And that does not make you unpatriotic. It's just you're trying to make an educated guess of what's gonna happen and actually make money from it.
As a crypto guy, I definitely agree with you on that because, I'm hoping fart coin goes up. Does that mean I like want farts to do well? No, I want I want my investment to do well. So call that selfish maybe. But in crypto, I'm telling you, no one's looking at what country some coin came from and who's it helping out or anything like that. Everybody's looking for the best investment. And am I wrong that somehow people can get into Robinhood through a VPN or something like that and invest in American companies while they live in other countries? That does happen, correct?
Yeah, that absolutely happens.
Yeah. So why wouldn't it be able to happen the other direction? So yes, unpatriotic trading. That's kind of almost betting against your own country's companies, but it still happens. All right, blockchain aesthetics. Christine, is your blockchain looking good? Is it? I don't even know. Yeah, there you go. You got to have a good looking blockchain. All right. So this says a recent analysis explores the intersection of aesthetics of blockchain narratives, emphasizing the importance of storytelling within the cryptocurrency community. And man, I really think that storytelling is important. I think it's one of the reasons why Bitcoin has done so well. In addition to there's only 21 million, there's, all these good hard sound money ideas and principles behind Bitcoin. I also think the storytelling of it was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto and no one knows who he is. And there was all the, he sent out his white paper to a cryptography mailing list, right? There's all of this lore around Bitcoin. And to me, that really has helped Bitcoin get to where it is because it's got a great story behind it. So, Christine, as we talk about all these chains, all these different types of crypto types, these blockchains, is important. Is it just as important to have a good story as it is to have actual good, tokenomics and a community behind you?
I mean, judging from past and what to current, yes. But I don't feel like, I mean, we need it, but I feel like people that, invest and trade crypto, we love the stories and the lore. So,
Yeah, I mean, you and I were deep into the NFT game in like 2021, and that the story behind that, and sometimes it was the lore behind the actual, cartoon characters that might have been part of the NFT, and that was important for sure. But it even more is that where, what's the founder's story? Oh, he used to actually run a business, and and obviously I'm talking in code about Luca there. Right. All of a sudden now there's this lore behind, oh my gosh, this guy knows what he's doing. What a cool story behind the Pudgy Penguins, right? So all of this equals to me, not only do you need a good tech, but a good story is important too. This gets into fart coin that I just mentioned, right? That's hilarious. It's got a good story behind it. So to me, Christine, I think you have to have that to actually, get traction. Am I wrong?
yes, you do like currently, like, especially the meme coins, and then because all these are like newly founded companies basically. But it's so funny when we expand on that, like stocks, right? If you trade stocks in these big companies, no one cares. No one knows who owns it really. Like you're just like, oh yeah, that's kind of like household name and I've heard of that, or someone told me about that, and you trade it and you don't care about a lore. But when it comes to meme coins or NFTs or crypto in general, we're like, okay, what's it about? How did it start? What's the lore behind it?
I kind of agree with you, but I'll disagree. And let's talk about Apple, Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
His lore was all over that company about like, oh, he ran it from his garage,
right.
or Google, how many Silicon Valley things are somebody running from their garage and that sort of thing. So there is
Yeah.
lore to it. Maybe not right now with those companies. Like right now, okay, it doesn't really matter now, but people say that stuff with like reverence of I can't believe they just started in their mom's basement, that sort of thing.
That's true. Yeah. And I think more companies, I mean, there's fewer companies where we actually know like the lore. Like I was about to say, except Apple, we all know like Steve Jobs and the story behind that. But a lot of them, right? Like with these thousands, hundreds and thousands of companies, like we don't know. And people just trade
Yeah.
them.
You're right. For the on the whole, we have no clue what's going on behind closed doors with these companies. And you're right. We just trade them. We look at the ticker, look at the chart, resistance here, support here,
Yes.
buying, selling, and we go and we don't care. But the narrative doesn't hurt. The narrative doesn't
Right.
hurt
That's true.
for sure. All right. Last topic on here: AI and security. It says recent developments in AI technology are altering the landscape of security measures. Law enforcement agencies are adapting to combat new forms of organized crime enhanced by AI. And I think, Christine, this is getting into, matter of fact, I brought up the article that this is based on. And let me just read this to you because it kind of seems scary to me. This comes from Europe. It says artificial intelligence is turbocharging organized crime. From creating child sexual abuse images to money laundering via cryptocurrency, Europol warned Tuesday with advances like quantum computing, this is only poised to make things worse. The executive director described the report as a wake-up call for law enforcement, telling top officers around Europe that the future of European security is in our hands. Is this terrifying to you that AI, especially like images, it mentions like child stuff right there and imagery that can be there, all of that stuff can be just created now out of digitally. That seems like a bad idea. This seems scary to me.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And that's like, I think the bad that comes with all this is, the cons is that like we could create a lot of bad scenarios and bad things with this. And like, that's where it's like, I think they're still trying to regulate everything with that too,
Yeah.
because we have to.
Well, and to me, the problem could get worse as I get into my segment called vibe coding. Whenever you code and you have no clue what you're doing and you just use AI to do everything, you could leave like huge security holes in something, and that will allow security type of breaches too. Now, would a major organization vibe code their website? Probably not, but I'm not saying that somebody doesn't have meager roots that they start with and they leave some big security hole, and it could lead to all sorts of things, including organized crime. But Europe seems to be all over that, and some scary, scary stuff for sure whenever you think about what could possibly happen.
Boys, someone
Yeah.
just told me that your mic is so low.
Oh, no. It is. I can see that. How about now? I'll bet you it's better now. If you ask them, you can be like, how about now? That's too bad, though. We got to figure out some audio stuff. Who's running this thing? Is it a vibe coder? We're gonna find out. All right, you can hear me now. I'm probably too loud. All right, let's move on to your corner now that we have you sounding so good on here. It is time for Christine's Corner. Right now on By the Rumor.
Christine's Corner, where the buzz is hot. Crypto trends or the latest pop plot. From gadgets that glow to stars in the sky. If it's on her mind, you know it's gonna fly. So plug in, tune in, let's take that ride.
There we go.
He
It's
said
got a
yours
lot of
is
words.
still low.
Still?
Yes.
No. He's wrong. No, I'm kidding. Tell him to keep on listening. Tell him, like, check 1 2 1 2 3. Whenever I was told that at first, I can see like my audio levels, and they were low, and I've raised them since. I will bet it's better now. I'll bet. Yeah. See if you get different reports, because also there's a lag too. So whatever I changed may not be out there just yet.
That's weird. He said it's getting lower.
Getting lower?
Well, you mess with that while I talk about Ozempic.
Yes, go for it. Tell me about Ozempic. What do I need to know? What has been on your mind about Ozempic?
So Ozempic, and I wanted to speak on this. It's a controversial like medicine, right? But I wanted to speak on this because you are so wise in medicine, very knowledgeable. It's seemingly like a really good thing. Like I have a lot of friends that are on it, a lot of clients. Oh, your voice is better. That's what he said. Okay, so a lot of clients on it, a lot of friends, and it's does well. The only thing I think I have an issue with is do you think that they push this so much on like everyone. You could just like order it now, like very minimal health discrepancies, like, oh, just let us know how old you are and how much you weigh, and we're gonna send it in, and you never have to see them in person. And I'm like, wow. And then it tempts everyone to do it. I'm like, oh, should I get on it now? Like, if I want to lose 10 pounds, like everybody get on it. And then I had a friend recently tell me that her psychiatrist had told her, and she's skinny, but she told her that she should get on it if she wants to lose like, 10 pounds. And it helps her not be so impulsive in like, her behavior and I guess shopping or drinking or whatever. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that it had those benefits either. And then, so that was new. And I was like, let me ask Voice about that. And then secondly, you know, I don't know, like, I just don't know. What are the long-term effects on someone that doesn't have diabetes on it? And then you have like doctors and PAs and stuff saying, or NPs telling people, yes, okay, you could get on it. You don't have to change your way of eating or exercise lifestyle. Just do what you've been doing. You're going to lose the weight no matter what. But is that really like just keeping them on permanently and not really getting them off? So it's more profit based than anything, because eventually you'd want people to be able to, live that lifestyle and keep that weight down, because it's obviously doing amazing on keeping weight down for a lot of people. I know personally someone that had a bad reaction to it, and I guess it something about their intestines, like it just shut it down or something like that, or it shut down their stomach, and then they had to get hospitalized. So what are your thoughts, because you're so knowledgeable in medicine? What is the long term, and is this okay? And can I use it to lose 10 pounds and that's fine? Like everyone can use it? Like what's the deal? Why are they pushing this so much that I could just order it without ever seeing a doctor?
Yes, you probably could. All right, so let me go through some of my thoughts on this. Yes, it is easy to get. I, for one, don't think you should be taking Ozempic if you need to lose, 5 pounds, something like that. You said 10. I guess we're getting into a little bit of a gray area there. With any medication that you take, there's going to be some sort of side effects, right? Medications come, and I can say that with almost any medication that you take. Some side effects come with the medication. And on many of them, let's say you have like heart disease or something like that, you'll take the side effects because it's literally saving your life. And whenever it comes to Ozempic, I think for the people that are truly needing to lose 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, the side effects that come with it and the risks that come with it are, in my mind, well worth it, right? Because of the benefits, the health benefits of losing that much weight, okay? For the ease of being able to get it that you mentioned, that does concern me a little bit, because if we've seen anything, and this goes across for medicine and all kinds of things, if we can do something a little, we're going to do it a lot, okay? And you're going to have somebody like yourself, you're like, oh, I'd like to lose 6 or 7 pounds, right? Right. And all of a sudden now you're taking Ozempic, which to me is a little too much for somebody that needs to lose just a little bit of weight. From another side of things, have you seen what's her name, Lainey Wilson? How everybody was crucifying her because her butt went away because of Ozempic. You can see some people that maybe didn't need it, and now all of a sudden they look like they're sick, like they're fighting something terminal because their face is all sunken in and everything.
Right.
So
Yeah, like Sharon Osbourne too.
Sharon Osbourne is all like droopy faced and everything because
Yeah,
she
and
lost
she
too
was
much weight.
already like she had gotten gastric and she looked great. And then I guess she went ahead and got on Ozempic and now it looks like it just isn't stopping. Like her weight just keeps dropping. Her daughter as well, Kelly Osbourne. But I've seen it
Hmm.
do amazing things for everyone else. So you just have like the very few that doesn't. But I guess it's so readily available and it's almost being pushed down your throat a lot of the times, like with the commercials and celebrities, and then you get people like me or people like you, whatever, like just regular people that are like, you know what, I'll do it for 5 pounds, like I'm gonna do it for
Right.
6 pounds. And then you're getting psychiatrists telling people as well, like, hey, actually stops impulsive behavior with like shopping or alcohol and stuff like
I have
that.
not heard that. I'll look into it to see if there's some kind of studies on that, but I have not heard that it could stop impulsive behavior. That's news to me for sure. It is. I think there is a place for Ozempic for people. Okay, so imagine this: you're a huge family person, family mom, family man, right? And you've got you've got a job that's really demanding, right? You need 10, 12-hour days, that sort of thing, right? And your kids want to play sports, and your daughter is into dance, and you're active in your local church. You volunteer at the local homeless shelter. You also have a garden. You have a hobby. You trade, okay, at night, okay. And then that person is like, oh, okay, the only way they've really been able to find they can lose weight without, these type of medications are being able to cut back on calories, 1,600 calories, something like that, and work out for an hour a day, okay? So that person, you're asking them, hey, I need you to give up one of those things. I need you to not be as good of a dad. I need you to not volunteer. I need you to not work 12-hour days, which most people just can't make that cut. So if they're going to have this great body minus something like Ozempic, they're going to have to cut out something because we only have a finite amount of time in each day. So to me, Ozempic really probably is freeing to some of those people to be able to do that, to get to where they want to get to. So I definitely see in that instance that it could be useful for those people to be able to do that because they're just like, no, I want to be a good mom. I want to be a good dad. I want to, do these things that I really like to do. I don't have the time to be able to do what I know I need to do to be able to lose weight in the traditional way. So I get it, but at the same time, I don't know. If you've got 2 or 3 pounds to lose, maybe Ozempic isn't the answer to do that.
And how about like staying on it? Like the, PAs or NPs telling people you don't have to change your lifestyle, you'll just drop the weight. Is that really a setup of it's more profit, like to keep them as a consumer and paying them, hundreds of dollars a month to keep them on it? Because essentially, once they hit that goal weight and then they are like, okay, that's fine, that weight comes back right away because they never
Yeah.
developed a lifestyle. So are they really looking out for the consumer when these doctors are telling them that?
That's a great point. So what you're worried about is the chronic need to be on
Correct.
Ozempic, basically for life, as long as you want to keep the weight off,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
I get that, and man, from the drug companies that are putting out, Ozempic, Wegovy, those sort of things, for those companies, I'm sure they are just rubbing their hands together because they're like, we got one that people are going to stay on. It'd be like whenever Pfizer first created Viagra, they knew like this thing's a cash cow, man. This
Yep.
thing is going to keep on coming out. And I know whenever they've got this, they're like, we've got to get this. First it was just for diabetics. And they're like, we got to push this through. People are using it off label to be able to lose weight. We've got to do it. So if you're saying if somebody is major profiting off of, drug companies are majorly profiting off of people wanting to continue to keep their weight off, I've got no defense for that. Obviously, they want that to happen. But on the other hand, we are a capitalistic society, and they're going to take advantage of something that is a choice, right? Like no one's forcing anybody to take anything like this or spend their money in this way, and they're spending it, in a way that they choose to be able to look a little bit better. I get it, but sometimes I don't get it, and maybe that's because my view of like beauty may be different. I liked the Lainey Wilson before than the Lainey Wilson after, so sometimes I don't get it as a man. I'm like, oh, why would you do that? And I understand they'll say, I'm not taking it for you. I'm taking it for me.
Yeah.
Get it completely. I get it completely. Go for it. But on the other hand, to your point, it may be a financial drain on you in the long term to be able to stay on it, for life, forever.
Yeah, for life. So what is the point that we're going to close out with on Christine's Corner is I feel like this is how I feel, and correct me if you feel different because I trust your opinion more than mine because you know medicine. But okay, get on it if you need it, not if it's less than 10 pounds, right? And then if you do get on it, try to develop a healthier lifestyle. Even if your doctor tells you you don't have to change anything, just a little bit of movement, even 15 to 20 minutes a day, walking, whatever it is, weightlifting. Just making a little bit of better choices, at least on eating, just so that eventually when you reach your goal and you get off, you don't have to just jump back on because that weight isn't going to come back on right away, right?
No, I like what you're saying. As far as the 10 pounds, just I'll leave that up to your doctor of where the cutoff is for there. But as far as for what you're saying, if you're on it, go ahead and still have some sort of activity. I personally believe that weightlifting would be a good activity because it actually builds muscle. Muscle takes more energy to keep alive, okay? So it may, in theory, burn more calories over time by building more muscle rather than just doing an insane amount of cardio. I think all of that stuff is good. I think Ozempic is probably a net positive for the nation because we do have like an obesity issue. One last social thing I want to say that's happened since Ozempic is over the last 10 years, we've had all this, body positivity. Oh, just love yourself who you are, just love who you are. And everybody was like, we definitely just need to, whatever your skin is in is love it. And I love my skin because I'm me, right? You saw all that on TikTok or whatever over time. But when Ozempic came out, it turned out, no, actually my skin, I wasn't that comfortable in. I want the Ozempic shot and I want to look different than I ever have before. Check this out. It looks like my butt is melting off of me and people are okay with that. So, things change, whenever people are saying that I'm happy with the skin that I'm in, which really, look, to be clear, I believe they were right before to think they're happy with the skin they're in. I believe that was the correct mentality, but it's just interesting to see how that mentality really quickly changed whenever it was just a shot away from changing the skin that you're in. If you will.
A good example of some celebrities is Meghan Trainor, right? She even made a song like all about that base, like, bigger's better. And then everyone's like, what the heck? Like, why is she so skinny now? And then Lizzo too, everyone's like, hey, you said like be comfortable in our skin and now you're just losing a bunch of weight. So it's odd, but yeah.
Two great examples. I'm a Meghan Trainor fan, by the way. You don't know that about me.
Me
oh,
too.
Really? Wow. Yeah, I love Meghan Trainor. I think I've listened to a few. Her second album, I think, was a great album. I think she's got a fantastic voice. And she was fine before, okay? I had no issues with Meghan Trainor before. Lizzo's weight loss was dramatic. And there was one that was very interesting because it was just like, there was a lot of body positivity going on there. And then all of a sudden the shot came and now she looks, I really, if she passed me on the street, I don't know that I would realize that it was Lizzo now.
I know.
She just looks
it's
different.
Dramatic. And, just for the record, I also loved them on their before Ozempic or like the weight loss journey. And then, it's whatever, to each their own, but yeah. It's just crazy to see because they were, they were very much like the base for love, like who you are, where we are, and live in your skin. And then now they're like the face of Ozempic, I guess.
Yeah. Listen to it's all about that base. Everything about it is this is who I am, and if you don't like it, then move on. But anyway, I like Meghan Trainor, but That it is just an interesting social observation is all it is.
Yes.
All right, enough about that. Let's talk some birthdays.
Oh, let me put my birthday hat on.
Oh, you're going to put on your birthday. Love it, love it, love it. Let me bring up my birthdays. We'll see if you've heard of all of these birthdays. Oh, no, I can't find my birthdays. Let me bring them because I sent you a
My
message.
pizza hat.
Pizza. All right, first of all, Kurt Russell, 1951. He is 74. Do you have a favorite Kurt Russell movie? Are you familiar with him?
I love Kurt Russell. I can't name the movies, but I do. I loved him and still do. Happy birthday, Kurt.
Tombstone, I believe, is one of his big.
Love Tombstone.
Escape from New York, The Thing, Overboard. Oh wait, isn't he married? Or he's not married to? Was it Goldie Hawn or something like that? Goldie Hawn. And he's not married. They've lived together for like 30 years now, and they've stayed together. They've how many Hollywood marriages have they outlasted? Just by being soulmates, I guess.
So many.
Awesome. All right, let me bring back my birthday list. All right, next comes up Rob Lowe. He is 61. You have a Rob Lowe favorite movie? No.
50 First Dates?
Is Rob Lowe in 50 First Dates? Really? Oh, okay. I believe he was in a Star Wars show called The Skeleton Crew recently, and I enjoyed that. Gary Sinise, he is 70. He is a favorite of mine from Lieutenant Dan of Forrest Gump. You a big Gary Sinise fan? Did you like Lieutenant Dan and his legs?
I love Lieutenant Dan. And Rob Lowe was not on 50 First Dates. I'm so stupid.
You thinking Sean Astin, maybe? I don't know.
No, I don't remember who I was talking about.
Nah,
don't mind me. Who cares?
Don't mind Christine. All right, Billy Corgan. Do you know who Billy Corgan is, if I just say that name?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes, I can guarantee you in my household, I've got one member of my household, that if I say Billy Corgan, we'll mention the Simpsons scene where Billy Corgan says to Homer Simpson, "Hey, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins." And Homer Simpson says, "Homer Simpson, smiling politely." And he always thinks that's funny, and I always think that's hilarious as well, that as if Billy Corgan would introduce himself as something he's doing currently. Instead of smiling politely, he's smashing pumpkins. All right, next one, Kyle Korver. I'll bet you're not familiar with Kyle Korver. He is a NBA player, or former NBA player. Brilliant three-point shooter. He is 44 today, so happy birthday, Kyle Korver.
My favorite basketball player. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that would have shocked me if that was your favorite basketball player. And finally, Patrick Duffy is 76. Have you heard of Patrick Duffy? He was on a show called Dallas. Okay, have you ever heard of Dallas, the TV show? Really? No. Oh gosh, you're breaking my heart. Dallas was a show all about the Ewing family, J.R. Ewing. Have you ever heard the term "Who shot J.R."?
Yeah.
Okay.
That came from him.
That's from, well, it's not Patrick Duffy. It came from Dallas, but he was on Dallas. So anyway, yes. That is birthdays for this week, or it's actually birthdays for today. So happy birthday to all of these people.
Happy
With
birthday.
that, happy birthday to everybody. Let's move on to voice lessons. Let's get it going.
Voice lessons, you'll hear it loud and clear. Tech and crypto wisdom, the truth is here. Big thoughts, bold moves, cutting through the haze. When the voice speaks up, you'll be amazed. So listen up.
What's up, everybody? Glad we have that. Hey, I have to change my Ozempic. Hey, I can see our good buddy Fake has been saying some comments here in our group room. You should look into that. Look at the link I gave you. And Fake, as well as Sam, has mentioned some things in here. He mentioned for Rob Lowe that he was in Wayne's World. And
What link?
Oh, it's in the messages that I've sent you. And you can see like the chat that people are saying in here. Let me just read what Fake said. He says, while not a complete ban, several European countries, including Belgium, have taken measures to restrict the use of Ozempic for weight loss due to shortages, prioritizing use for type 2 diabetes. So it's regulated, sometimes banned in the very country that invented it. He also says any sort of new medicine treatment for this sort of thing, we haven't had enough time to see the long-term side effects of any. So I completely agree with that. And also, Sam is disappointed in us for not mentioning Big Trouble in Little China for Kurt Russell.
I see the link now.
Yeah. Look into that, and you can see that. You should. We should start using. We kind of suck as streamers. Let me just say that. So
we do.
We need to get better. So we will. That's our commitment. Is to get better. All right. So let me put in here vibe, not vice coding, vibe coding. Update this lower third, and let me start with this. All right, everybody, I'll let Christine talk with y'all while I talk a little bit about vibe coding. First of all, Christine, before you start talking with everybody, are you familiar with the term vibe coding? Have you ever seen it on your feed yet, and known or not known what it is?
No, I do not know what vibe coding is.
Okay. So vibe coding is the idea of coding with AI, and you know that I've been doing this for some time, and you're just coding on vibes, bro. Okay, you just have to kind of type in, this is what I want to do. You AI figure out all the hard stuff to figure out, and you just code. Okay, and I, as you know, wanted to do this a little more than a year ago. You and I were on Spaces almost every day, right? And we wanted another person to show up, and we had other humans, and maybe they just had a little trouble showing up every day, and we wanted to try to see if we could have a bot do this for us. So I told you, I think through AI, I can create a person, okay? I can create a person to talk with us. And this is exactly what I did. I went into ChatGPT and said, myself and another co-host were on Twitter Spaces. We want another person to join us. Could we do a fake person, a bot that hears us and then responds to us? And I'm telling you, Christine, at that point, it goes through one by one, gave me code, told me how to use it through Python. I knew nothing. I was not a coder before. And I'm telling you, by the end of it, and you know this, I put Victoria, you named her, by the way. I put Victoria right there on Spaces. She would listen to us, and anytime on my computer, I hit the space bar. She would listen to the last 30 seconds of whatever we were talking about, and she would speak, and she was funny sometimes. I told her to actually be funny, and she would actually say some funny things at times.
And she would talk crap about me.
She would. She didn't like you for some reason. I don't know why, but it was extremely human-like, scarily human-like that we did. So that was my first foray into it. I've never developed anything before. I've went to Odesk before, which is I think now Upwork, and I had hired some people to make like some apps for me on the App Store, and they were able to do that, and it cost quite a bit of money. That I would now be able to do through vibe coding, just to be able to code and have no clue. So am I a success story? No, I've never made like a software as a service where I can now, now I own $1 billion company, or I've exited several companies. No, a lot of these things I make for myself. For instance, look at this lower third. Where's my finger? Yeah, look right here. Okay, where you got this little vibe coding, and we've got a ticker under there. Or if I went back to, thank you for pointing that out. If I went back here, let me see this thing we had on the right here, where it's got the picture up top, and it's got all the topics that we talked about earlier. That's all vibe coded. I did all of that through me just saying, hey, have you ever seen Pardon the Interruption on ESPN? I asked that of AI. I said, have you ever seen Pardon the Interruption? And it said, oh yeah, familiar with that. I said, I want this layout. I gave it a screenshot of the layout, and it built it. And, sometimes it didn't work right. Like, for instance, this little timer that I had showed you already before up here, and you can see where it says 26 seconds right now. I had to build something to be able to stop that timer. So you can see the stop sign that just went there. I was able to build that. I am telling you, it is easier than you think it might be. One, and two, I've actually learned a lot of a basis of how to code now. Now, I am no coder, but I learned more than I ever would have known without anything. So vibe coding not only is a good workaround for not knowing how to code, it also will teach you a little bit how to code as well, because you'll find yourself having errors. You will put that error then into your AI, your ChatGPT, your Claude, whatever, and then it will fix it for you. I've made a site that you can put in your symptoms, and it will suggest natural supplements for you. I've made this little site right here. I've made Victoria. I've made one time you and I have always been fascinated with how pop culture affects trading. I made something that ultimately kind of morphed into what we're doing here. I've made a crypto horoscope that uses the prices of current cryptocurrencies and gives you a horoscope that's just for that. And I have countless of other ideas that I've never even shown you, Christine, that bring about things from my head onto the screen. And some of them have been money-making ideas. Some of them have been just cool ideas that I thought would be to keep for myself. I guess this is my plea to anybody listening. I'm going to look right into the camera here. This is my plea. You can do anything. You know that big idea that you've had in your head, or maybe it's a small idea that you've had in your head. Try it. Just put it into AI and see what it says. Maybe you'll learn you don't have the technical aptitude to put it into Cursor or any type of coding type of program like Visual Studio Code or something like that. Maybe you'll learn that, but I'm telling you, put it into there. Say, I want to build this. What would it take to do this? And then put, I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about coding. And I am telling you, you might be surprised of what you can come up with. Christine, what are you going to build now that you've heard my rah-rah speech on vibe coding?
I think I still want to build, and I brought it up to use like a dating website slash because I have no idea, right? But I'm so impressed by everything you've built, like since AI has come along, and you weren't a coder at all, and you're able to just create all of these things, and you're pretty nonstop. And I'm surprised that there's stuff that you haven't showed me, because I feel like you've created so many things and it's so impressive. I really want to do that dating website and then how to even launch it to where it can be successful and helpful to others. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can, and if you put okay, great, this looks great now. How do I put this on the web? It will step you through that. I've even, and these are things that I've never released, I even got Google sign-in to work, because there's a few things that I wanted individual things to happen, and I got Google sign-in to work. So you can do it, Christine. I swear you can do it. All you have to do is say, I want a dating app. I would like it to look like, whatever type of dating app you want it to look like. I want it to have these functionalities, and boom, you can build it. So many things, whether it be through crypto, my passion is crypto, but my passion is also just technology anyway. And there's so many things that I have built through there or had an idea to build that I've started to build, and then sometimes I see something shiny and start doing something else in it. I like how you change your hair, but your hat stayed the same. Anyway, yes, vibe coding is something that anybody can do. It's one of the most easy uses of AI, and it's something that I think most people can start right now. If you want to see the advantages of AI, to me, just look at this show. I mean, as I look at that rundown, there's probably even more going on here than you realize. I mentioned, see up at the top, that picture. That picture matches whatever story we're talking about at the time. So if it's about Bitcoin, it will show a picture of Bitcoin. If it's about security, it will show something like a chain link being broken or something like that. And that all happens even locally. My own computer makes those images, not like Midjourney or one of those services. It's
that's crazy.
Something open source that I have on my own computer. I have the Your Ad here. Anybody that wants to look into that, holler at Christine or I. But I've got an ad space right there, and I even made a back end where I can change that ad right there. The ticker, everything about it. This is all vibe coded. Okay, now, is there a problem with vibe coding? Might you get to an issue where you have a security hole in whatever you build? Yeah, maybe. But when you get to that point, probably you should look into hiring an actual developer to look over your code and that sort of thing. So yeah, pretty crazy vibe coding that this is. I want you to build that dating site, Christine. I really do. I will.
I know. I will too.
Okay, do it. Do it. Don't just talk. Do it. Do it.
I know.
You have the ability to do this. Well, this has been a good show. I feel like I've dropped the ball a bit with audio. So I tell you what we're going to do in the future. Be ready for this, because you're going to be like, oh, I hate it when he does this. I'm going to start doing mic checks with us before we go on. So you and I can say 1, 2, 3, and then make sure it sounds good before we go on. Okay.
Good idea.
You're going to be like, oh, he's doing the thing again.
I will be like that, but good idea.
You will. It's okay. We've got to do it. We've got to get our stuff kind of figured out. By the way, I see everybody on here. Oh, I see Joe was here, by the way, too. It says, hello, beautiful people. I'm glad I caught y'all live today. So welcome, Joe, if you're still listening. We need to use this chat. Don't you think we should use this chat more during the show? Like, we need to be better streamers.
And we will, because it's a lot more interactive like that. I kept clicking the link and I'm like, I still don't see where I can see. And then on the bottom, it says live or whatever. So then I click that and that's where I see it. So if you guys don't know where it is, that's a way too. But yeah, we're going to start using that just to see like, oh, can you hear us? Is it clear? What your thoughts are on about it. It's important.
Yeah, for sure. And, I myself, let me just tell you, I always think like, you know how there's Obi-Wan Kenobi or Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker in the beginning of the shows in episode 4, he doesn't know what he's doing, right? And Obi-Wan does. I am much more Luke Skywalker. I have no clue what I'm doing on basically anything. I just use AI to try to be smart. And so I want to like get better at just streaming, right? It's just being able to stream and talk live. So some of that comes with like making my points more succinctly, because I like to put out little videos of what we're saying and to kind of hype up the podcast, that sort of thing. And anyway, I'm learning. I'm gonna get better at this. Oh, see, Eat for Food just said, "Oh dang, there's a chat, yo." So people are.
See, yeah.
No one even realized it. What's up? What's up, Eat for Food? We see you on there, because I know, Christine, you've seen like videos of like Twitch people where they're like, "What up, chat? Man, this place is bussin'." Okay, I don't know if that's what they say or not, but they always.
Oh my god.
They always know what they're doing so well. You can just tell they know how to work streaming stuff for sure. Christine's instructions were very clear. What does that mean, Eat for Food? What instructions did you give that were so clear? What are you doing now? Are you making
I'm just messing with, we're trying to perfect everything. I have to see if something's cool.
I like that. Ooh. Eat. Did you eat that? Oh, you're loading.
I'm loading.
Love that. All right. We still don't have, oh my.
Mog.
We still don't have an
Coin.
outro. It does look like Mog. That's right. We still don't have an outro. Now, I've said before I want an outro where you and I are like walking away from an explosion. And by the way, what'd you think about those videos that we put out for having us walking away from an explosion? Did you think it looked like your face or no?
I feel like it looks like me, but obviously I feel like it looks like me, like it resembles me. And then people are like, "Who the hell is that?" I'm like, "That's me, idiot."
Yeah. I had some of the same reactions to it, where they're like, "You sure that's you?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a face." In reality, it was just AI generated, and then I swapped faces on it. Anyway, I want this outro where it's like a song, and then it's got like 30 different clips of us like walking away from explosions, as well as you wanted the "This is fine" meme where it's like you and I are at a table and there's like fire all around us. And I did that as well. It hasn't worked out like I wanted it to just yet. So we will have an outro video eventually. So look for that. I'm going to kind of figure out how to do that correctly, and we'll do that. But here's what I do ask for everybody that is listening. Try to help us share this. I'll actually put the video out on X where you can repost it and people can actually see the recording of it. Try to see if you can help us get more people in here. I do believe what we're doing, Christine, is so different than what everybody else is doing. Mm-hmm. Many people just put their Zoom call on here, and you can just look at their Zoom screen, which is fine. I'm not trashing anybody else's stream, but I do think what we do is a bit different. So if you enjoy it, do share it. Try to get us more people in here.
Yes.
And then maybe eventually we can get something in the lower right-hand corner here for your ad here, and we can get that done in that way. Mm-hmm. All right, Christine, any parting thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think this was a great show, you guys. This will be obviously loaded onto YouTube. We have, make sure to follow us on all the platforms. We have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and obviously here. Make sure you guys give us a follow, and then we will see you guys next week.
Sweet. All right, we will see everybody next week, and maybe we'll have an outro by then. Maybe we won't. Christine's Corner will be coming. Voice Lessons will be here, and of course, we'll have a whole new host of topics that we'll discuss. Until then, Think we're done here. Peace. Peace. There we go. All right, we're stopped. Let me.